Greetings, friend. Timberlake here from Smart Hobbies. The channel that helps you transform a passive interest to a fun and enjoyable hobby. I am going to show you how to solve WXYZ-Wings. This, I believe, is the most advanced and comprehensive tutorial that you will find on this subject on YouTube. I have scoured several internet pages. I've looked all throughout YouTube and internet videos to see what people have talked about these things, and I believe that in every instance I had to pull from several different sources. There's no one source that really completely described WXYZ-Wing. So that's what I'm going to do here today, and we're going to start now. So what you see in front of me is a puzzle that does contain a WXYZ-Wing. All the puzzles that I show, I will put in the comments below so that you can look these up and find the puzzles and find the explanation from the people who originally put them there. And I give credit for anyone who has tried to explain this in the past. I know personally that I had a hard time figuring out WXYZ-Wings. I didn't understand, and I kept incorrectly identifying them. So what does it mean? What's the definition? A general definition of a WXYZ-Wing is that it contains 4 cells that are not all in the same house, that share the same 4 candidates, which allows for elimination of one of its candidates. That is a definition I've seen online. I've also seen a further definition where it says that one cell can have up to 4 candidates and the other ones are all bi-value cells. That's not quite accurate, and this definition itself is not enough for you to go and find WXYZ-Wings. If you just start looking for, not in the same house, but there's 4 of the same candidates, 4 cells, and you try to make eliminations, it probably won't work because there's a special relationship between those candidates. So let's dig into this a little bit deeper. Another term that people use to describe WXYZ-Wings is a bent quad. So if it was straight, then you just have a naked quad. But bent means it's more in more than one house, and that's why you can make the eliminations. That's why there's some logic involved there. All right, so what are the characteristics? First, it's exactly 4 cells. No argument there. Second, there's 4 candidates. No more than, well, not even more or less. It has to be 4 separate candidates. Now, the candidates don't have to all be in all 4 cells. It can be a mix. Usually it's 2 to 4 of each candidate. Now, 3 of the candidates can all see each other. And so what that means is of the 4 candidates, 3 of them will have a relationship with, they can all see each other. And so to make this a little easier, let me point out the WXYZ-Wing that's in this puzzle. The cell that can see all the other cells, which is called the Hinge Cell. It's also called a pivot cell. I'm going to call it a parent cell because of the relationship it has. It's right here. So 1, 2, 5, 9. This one happens to have all 4 candidates in there. Doesn't have to be that way. All right, so the cells that see it, that will work for this WXYZ-Wing, are going to be here, and then down there. So you can see no more than 4 candidates. We got a 1, a 2, 5, and a 9. That's all that is in those. So 3 of those candidates, of the 1, 2, 5, 9, 3 of them can see each other. They can see all the ones that look like each other. So I'm talking about the candidates, not the cells. So the ones can see each other here in block 4. The 2s can see each other along row 4. The 5s see each other along row 4. And so those 3 are called restricted candidates. They're restricted because they all see each other. Now, the 9s do not all see each other. This 9 down here in row 6 doesn't see the 9s that are up here in block 5, row 4. That is called the unrestricted candidate. And for WXYZ-Wing to work, you have to have 1 unrestricted candidate. Again, that's the candidate that you're trying to eliminate. Okay, hopefully this is all making sense. And there's a difference between the candidates and the cells. I'll try to make that distinction the best I can. Many times if you look through the wiki pages, it'll have a nice cute little picture and I'll show this WXYZ-Wing type configuration. And then there's like the Hinge Cell, the parent cell that has a WXYZ. And that's where it gets its name, because you're going to have 4 separate candidates. Just like a XY chain or wing has 2 candidates, and XYZ-Wing has 3 candidates, WXYZ-Wing has 4 candidates. Great. All right, the W candidate is going to be the one that interacts here with this light pink cell. So this is the parent cell, and then the W, which is the 1, only between the parent and the spouse. I call this cell the spout cell. And you'll notice that the 1s are between these two, and they can see each other, but the 1s are not over here in the purple. And so this, when you have the W, that's where the W is talking about. It's between this bent part and the parent cell. So I call this the spout cell, and the spout cell, this is the key. If you're messing up, I guarantee it's because you don't understand how the spout cell works. So every parent, you know, normal household, two parents, right? You got a parent, you got a spouse, right? So the spouse, you gotta understand, the spouse will only be it will be a bi-value cell. There will only be 2 candidates in there. The first candidate is going to be this W candidate, which connects it, and it will not be seen by the other 2 cells. And there's one exception I'll explain in a later video. The second part is it'll have to also contain the unrestricted candidate. So the 9 has to be here. So there's 2, it's going to be this W, and it's going to be this 9, which is the Z candidate. And the reason being is that's how the eliminations work. You know, this 9 can't see those, you know, eliminate is what all the 9s can see together, right? So that's how the spouse cell works. So that's what you're going to look for. You're going to look for with 2 bi-value cells. 1 connects with the parent, and then 1 is the unrestricted. Great. All right, so what are these purple cells? Well, the purple cells, I call them the children. So you have a parent, you have a spouse, then you have your children. So your children are related to the parent, and that they can see, and the parent can see both, and they're all lined up. They'll be lined up in a row. Like the 2 children will always see each other, and they always will see the parent cell. Thing to keep in mind is that they cannot be the exact same 2 bi-value candidates in there. If they were, it'd be a naked pair, and this wouldn't work. Like this is a 5-9, and that was a 5-9. This wouldn't work. So, since it's a 5-9 and a 2-5-9, and the key here is that this contains like a 5, and this contains a 2, that will help make our eliminations work. But basically, you can have 2 to 3 candidates in each of these children cells. And I'm being a little general in some of this, and as specific as I can, because you're going to see in all my examples, it looks different every time. It's not like a traditional like XYZ-Wing where it's, you know, the hinge has got 3 candidates, and then the 2 wings have 2 bi-value cells, and that's how it is, and you can recognize it. And XY-Wing, you know, it's just 2, it's bi-value cells, the A, B, A, C, B, C setup. No, it can be a mix and a match. But if you understand this relationship, you will be able to find these, and you will be able to make the eliminations. So I've explained the parent cell. I've explained the spouse cell. Now I explain the children cell. So now, how do the eliminations work? Well, we're looking to eliminate the unrestricted candidate, which is the 9. Where can we make the eliminations? Well, we can make it in any cell that all the cells that carry the unrestricted candidate can see. In this case, it's just going to be this cell right here. That cell's filled in. This cell right here, this is the 9 that we're looking to eliminate. And I will color it. Oops. Excuse me. candidate, color. Let's do that. Alrighty. I'll color it right there. That's what we're trying to eliminate. Every time you do a WXYZ-Wing, until you get the hang of it, I would tell you validate it. And you can now validate an XY-Wing. You can validate XYZ-Wing. And you validate the WXYZ-Wing all the same way. How do you do it? You basically plug in every value that possible into the parent cell or the pivot. And all those have pivots. And if you can make the eliminations you're looking for, it's a valid WXYZ-Wing. So first, plug into the 1. All right, if you plug in a 1 right here, then this cell becomes a 9, and that can't be a 9. That's that special relationship between the parent and the spouse. If you plug in a 2, then what you get is a 2 here makes this a 5-9 naked pair. If that's a 5-9 naked pair, this can't be a 9. And you wouldn't know if this is a 1 or a 9, so you cannot make any other eliminations. If you plug in a 5, then this would be a 9, and that can't be a 9. If you plug in a 9, then obviously this can't be a 9. So in all cases, this can't be a 9, so you can make that elimination. This is a valid WXYZ-Wing. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's move on to our next example. For our next example, I wanted to show you a little bit different variation. So you can see I already have the cells colored here. So the orange is the parent cell. Pink is the spouse cell. And then the purple are the 2 children cells. All right, so let's check here. Are there 4 cells? Yes. Are there no more than 4 candidates? 2, 5, 6, 9? Yes. Are they not in the same row? Yes. Do they have 3 restricted candidates? The 2s see each other, the 5s don't see each other, so that's unrestricted. The 9s see each other, the 6s see each other. Works. And then we'll be able to make an elimination. And again, what you want to look for is that relationship between the parent and the spouse. So the parent and spouse will share a 9. These 2 don't have it. That works. The 6s all see each other, and the 2s see each other, and then the 5s are the only one unrestricted cell. So that works really well. We'll validate this, but this should be a good WXYZ-Wing. Interesting part here is you notice that the 5, the unrestricted candidate, is not in the parent cell. So if it's in the parent cell, you're going to be restricted to eliminations only within the block of the parent cell. The reason being that's where the only spot where all 4 would see each other. So you'd only be able to eliminate this guy right there. But since it's not in the parent cell, you'll notice that the 5s are in these 3 cells. Well, they can see more candidates. They can see this 5 together, they see this 5 together, and they see this 5. So we could possibly eliminate all 3 of those 5s. So let's see if that works. If this is a 2, that's a 5. You won't be able to. You can eliminate this 5, and this 5. If this is a 6, then this is a 5, and you'll be able to eliminate the 3 5s because it sees them all. And if this is a 9, then this is a 5, and you'd still be able to eliminate all 3 of those 5s. So in this case, we can make 3 eliminations. You can see right here, this 5 is not seen by those 2, so you can't make that elimination. Pretty cool, huh? The other thing I'd note is that this is probably a more common way of variation of seeing the WXYZ-Wing is you'd have 3 or 4 candidates in the parent cell, and then you're going to have bi-value cells for the others. A lot of definitions say they have to be bi-values, but they don't. I just proved that in the last example. Now, they don't have to be bi-values, but except for this spouse cell. That one does have to be a bi-value cell. All right, let's move on to our next example. For our third example, I have another WXYZ-Wing here, and it's going to be a little bit different than the first 2 I showed you. If you want, pause the video, take a few seconds, see if you can find where the WXYZ-Wing is. Okay, for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, here's where the hinge is, or the parent. Here's the spouse. And these are the children. Now, what's different about this one? Well, you probably noticed that one of the children is actually inside the block with the spouse and the parent. Does it still work? It will. The other thing you probably notice is that the bi-value cell they share, the 9, is also in this child, which that's a little scary. I thought you said we couldn't have that happen. Well, I'll explain it to you. So first, do we have 4 cells? Yes. Do we have do we have exactly 4 candidates? 3, 4, 5, and 9. Yes. Are they not in a row? Yes. Okay, do we have the spouse, which you can see the other 3? Yep. Do we have 3 that can 3 of the candidates are restricted where they only see each other? So the 3 that do see each other are the 9s, the 5s along the row 3, and the 4s along row 3. And do we have 1 that's unrestricted and doesn't all see each other? Yep, the 3. So this 3 and this 3 don't see each other. And like I said in my previous example, the 3 is not here in this parent cell, so that means we'll be able to make more eliminations. You can make eliminations here or up here. In this case, the eliminations we'll be looking at are the 3s and these 3 cells. Now, you probably remember me saying, well, hey, the W is the 9. But the 9 is in this child. That's not fair, Timberlake. You can't do that. Okay, the reason why it works in this case is that W candidate, the 9, yes, it has to be between the parent and the spouse. But if the child's within the same block, then it can also share that W candidate. It can also share that 9. And I'll show you. It'll work. It works if this is the case. If this was not inside block 1, you could not have a 9 here. Like it was over here. You put a 9, it would mess up your WXYZ-Wing. It wouldn't work. But because it's inside of this, it works. We're still going to consider it a child because it's in the row here and they can't all see each other. All right. Again, if you want to validate it, let's validate it. You plug in a 4, what happens? You plug in a 4, then you end up with this becomes a 3-5, this becomes a 5-9, and this becomes a 3-9. And like, well, what the heck is that? Well, that is an XY wing. Well, guess what? If it's an XY wing, then we know that we can still eliminate the 3s from right here because the 3s are in both of these wings. Crazy, huh? Yeah, but that's how it works. This would turn into an XY wing. You can still make those eliminations. If this is a 5, then this would be a 9, 5, 9. That would be a 3, and you can make those eliminations. And if this is a 9, that would be a 3, and you can still make those eliminations. Crazy, huh? The other thing you probably notice is out here, this has 3 candidates in it. But that's okay. I said the children can have 2 or 3 candidates. So I validated it by plugging in all the values for the parent cell, and we're still eliminate the 3s in all 3 cases. This is a valid WXYZ-Wing. Cool, huh? I told you, these examples will all be a little different, so I'm trying to explain why it will still work. In this case, if you limit to 9, which is the W candidate, to the same block, you're good. And then the spouse is going to be the one that has the W candidate, which is limited to the block, and the unrestricted candidate. Let's move to our next example. For our next example, we have another WXYZ-Wing. It's going to look a little different than the other ones we've seen previously. I'll give you a few seconds to see if you can find it yourself, and I'll give you a hint. It's all 4 of them will be bi-value cells. All right, let me show it to you. Our hinge is right here. And our spouse is here. And here are the children. So at this point you might go, man, this is kind of hard. There's all kinds of bi-values. How would you know that's the one that would be for a WXYZ-Wing, or even look there? One trick I learned, or I saw by looking online in one of these posts, said that, you know, it can be a bi-value, it can be 3, or it can be 4 candidates. You can eliminate some candidates for the parent cell right off the bat if they are part of a naked pair, you know, a locked naked pair. So in this case, this one technically, and that, here, and I believe I got them all. Those cells, because they're a locked naked pair, they would not be able to have the relationship we're looking for with the spouse and the parent. So you can eliminate those. So then you can narrow your search down to looking within these to find your parent cell. Okay? Hopefully that helps. I'll get rid of these colors for you. And we'll color back there. But I wanted to point that out. I started doing that and it helped narrow down my search, and I started able to find the WXYZ-Wings a little bit easier. And what I'd say is take these examples and look through them. I'm going to give you a lot of examples so that you can get practice on them. My current Sudoku solver does not generate WXYZ-Wings, so I have to just find as many as I can posted online. If you do have a solver that can generate these, please send it to me. I'd be happy to use that because I want to keep practicing this valuable strategy. All right, is it 4 cells? Yes. 4, no more than 4 candidates. 3, 7, 8, 9. Yep. Is it not in a row? Yep. Are 3 of those restricted? So the 3s only see each other right here. Yeah. The 7s only see each other right there. Yep. The 8s only see each other right here. Yeah. And then there's 1 unrestricted. Yep. The 9 and the 9 don't see each other. That's an unrestricted. All right. Do we have a proper spouse cell? Well, do we have a proper parent cell? Yeah, because they can see the 3 cells. You have a proper spouse cell. Well, it only shares the 3 with the parent within the same block. Great. We are good to go. That is a good spouse cell because the other candidate is a 9, the unrestricted. So we have the one that shares with the, as that W candidate I talk about, and then we have the unrestricted candidate. So for the children, are they in a row and they both see the parent? They sure do. And again, the 7s and the 8s work. All right. Something else to keep in mind is that one of the children's going to have the unrestricted cell. Otherwise, you really wouldn't be making any eliminations. You got to have something out here that this spouse doesn't see so that you can make the eliminations. So based on that, we have a 9 here and a 9 here. Where can we make eliminations here? We can focus on here and there. All right. So how we validate it? Well, if we put a 3 in here, that'd be a 9. That can't be a 9. That can't be a 9. Cool. If we put an 8 right there, what would happen? Put an 8 here. This turns into a 7. That turns into a 9. That can't be a 9. That can't be a 9. So we're good to go. So did you notice anything else about this set of 4 bi-value cells that kind of see each other and linked up in a chain? Yes, hopefully you notice that is an XY chain. So not only can you call this a WXYZ-Wing because it acts like a WXYZ-Wing and it fits into our definition, but if you just solve this as a XY chain, it would still work the same. If you went here and went 9 to the 3, 3 to the 8, 8 to the 7, 7 to the 9, well, you can eliminate any 9s that see both those cells. You can eliminate the 9 here and 9 there. That works. The difference is the logic for WXYZ-Wing works on a different relationship because you could add a couple extra candidates in here and still, like here and here and here, and still get those eliminations. Whereas with the XY chain, you're limited to strong and weak links between all bi-value cells. But I thought I'd point that out because I found this in a Reddit comment, and the person posting it or the response to it said, yeah, that's just an XY chain. You can just solve it that way. So I thought that'd be neat to see. All right, let's move on to our last example for this video. For our last example, I found a puzzle that actually has two WXYZ wings. You have to solve the first one to get to the second one. So if you want, take a few seconds and see if you can find the first WXYZ wing. I'll give you a hint. The candidates are 1, 2, 8, and 9. Okay, here's the first one. There's the parent. Here's the spouse. And here are the children. 4 cells, 4 candidates, not in the same house. 1, 2, 8, and 9. Let's look at the relationship. Does the parent see all the other cells? Yes. Does the spouse contain that W candidate? So the only sees the ones between the spouse and the parent? Yep, it's not contained over there. Great. And is the other candidate the restricted candidate? So this is an 8. Doesn't see these 8s, so that's a restricted candidate. Are all the other candidates? No, that's the unrestricted candidate. I'm sorry. Are all the other candidates restricted? Yep, the 1s are restricted there. The 9s are restricted along row 6, and the 2s are restricted along row 6. Great. So, what would be the eliminations? Well, it would be for that unrestricted candidate, which would be the 8. So what we're looking at would be if we could eliminate candidates from here and here. All right. So if we plug in a 1 right here, that would be an 8, and those couldn't be 8s. If we plug in a 9 right there, then this would be a 2, 8 naked pair, and those couldn't be 8s. So this is a valid WXYZ wing. It works for both values here, and we're going to eliminate those 8s. So let's get rid of those 8s. Okay. From here, we've just created another WXYZ wing that we can start solving. Can you see where it is? I'll give you a hint. It's in rows 4 and 5. All right, this one's going to be a little trickier. It's going to be a little goofy. Parent is right there. The spouse is right there. And the children are right here. I know. Now you're looking at it going, wait a minute. You just said the spouse is over here. It's outside of the block of the parent. That's not cool, Timberlake. Every other example, it was inside the block. I thought they had to be together and they had to share that candidate within the block. Well, the main thing is the relationship of the W candidate. So let's run through this. Are there 4 cells? Yes. Are there 4 candidates? 3, 4, 8, 9. Yes. Are 3 of them restricted? The 3s are all restricted to this block. The 4s are restricted to this row, and the 8s are restricted between these in this row. The 9s do not all see each other, so we have 1 unrestricted candidate, the 9. So we would be solving for 9s. Where do the 9s see each other? Right here and here. Okay, so why does this work? Well, what's the W candidate? It's an 8. So is it only between the parent and the spouse cell? Sure enough, it is. So it's okay for the W candidate and for the spouse cell to be outside of the block of the parent. It's okay. And is the other candidate in this spouse cell the unrestricted candidate? And it sure is. It's the 9. So we have that W candidate and we have the unrestricted, which is the Z candidate. All right, so for the children, do the children see each other? Yep. Do they have, they don't have the same 2 BVCs. They got at least 3. They either have 2 different ones or 3. Yep. They are all good. And they both see the parent. We're good to go. All right, so we plug in the 3 right here. What happens? Put in a 3. This becomes a 4-9 naked pair. That's a 4-9 naked pair. And there can be no more 9s along row 4, so you can eliminate those 9s. If this is an 8, then that would be a 9, and you can eliminate those 9s as well. This is a valid WXYZ wing. I wanted to show you this one because it's very rare when I've seen it where the spouse cell is outside of the block of the parent. But it works. Again, go through, validate it. If it validates, you got a good WXYZ wing, and you can safely make those eliminations. All right. So what'd you think? I hope you learned something new and cool about WXYZ wings. I feel like this is a very good topic. I feel like you become a better solver. When are you looking for these? It's going to be pretty far along in the puzzle when you're getting stuck, and you can't just look for bi-value cells. You got to expand a little bit to get a harder elimination. If you were to do this puzzle up to the point where I started, you really need you need to do a WXYZ wing to make any more progress. I plan to do future tutorials where I'm going to analyze even more WXYZ wings, show you some more variations, hopefully explain a little bit better so that you be surely confident that you can just start spotting these and solving them without having to validate every time. Please subscribe to my channel. Please check out this other video I'll put here by Bondi, which I saw my first WXYZ wing on this channel. Excellent puzzle. Thank you, Bondi, for creating that puzzle. It's all called Timberlake, and I love that. Please please comment on my channel. Send me a puzzle if you want me to solve it. Thank you so much for watching.